Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Lolly. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you these fun new paper clips I came up with. I'm calling them covered paper clips because, as you can see, most of the clip is covered. You just see one end of one loop there. If this had been completely covered, I would have called it a hidden paper clip, but as you can see, it's not totally covered. What we're making is a double-sided paper clip, and I will give you options as we go along, but I want you to see why I chose to have a smaller one in the back. And that is because when you're clipping it, it's so much easier to do that if one of the sides of the paper clip is smaller than the other. So either way, it's just easy to clip it on there. Whereas if the front and back were the exact same size, it would be fiddly to get that on there. You do not have to use circles, but I chose to. And I just think it looks very charming. Now, I want to show you this one because I think I like this one even better. Because this one, I put a chain on. And so when this, let's put it on the inside of my book here. Let's say this is on the inside of the book. Even though you have this boring little thing hanging here, look what you have. You can hang this and now you can see it from the front of your book. So it is totally up to you. You can do a dangle, you can do a really long chain, you can do whatever you want on your paper clip. So let's come over here and see what you are going to need to make yours. Okay, so obviously you're going to need your adhesive. I'm using Barely Art liquid glue. I prefer to also use a dab of a permanent glues such as Power Tack. Whenever I work with metal on a paper clip or something, I want to have that. I'm using my needle nose pliers and some jump rings. I have a little bit of chain. Again, you don't need that. I have one of the paper clips that's almost 2 inches. It's called a jumbo paper clip. I'm going to need, I'm using 2 circle punches. You don't have to. We'll discuss other options here. And I'm using the 2-inch and the 1.5. I'm using tweezers. You don't have to have the tweezers. Whatever embellishments you want. You're going to need some clamps and distress ink if you want. I've already distressed my images. And the circles that I have done, you need 2 of each, 2 of the small, 2 of the large. Whatever size image you choose. You could use squares, you could use butterflies, hearts, whatever shape that you want. You just need to make sure the small one will cover your the small of the 2 loops while this is exposed, and that the large circle will cover the complete long loop, leaving that exposed. That's all you need, 2 of each. And like I said, whatever embellishments you need. Now what I'm using is this, which is a old stamp set from Hero Arts called Mailbox. This has been one of my favorite stamp sets through the years, and it is very charming. I think I got this in the 90s. That's how old this is. So I have pre-stamped and colored some of the images, and I have some real postage stamps. And my goal in doing my clip today is our theme for August in Paperclip Art Group is a profession. Any profession, doesn't have to be your profession. I was thinking of postal carriers. So I'm doing this kind of theme here with the paperclip. Okay, so when you're doing this, obviously we're going to cover the double loop and leave this exposed. Now you have a couple options here. You can either hang your charm on now, like just threading it in there, so it's already on there when you add your paper. Or if you want to do the chain, find an end here, you can go ahead and thread that on. I am going to thread that chain on there, right there, and just kind of figure out how long I want that to be. I'm not really measuring, and I'm going to clip that off and set that aside. So I might need that later, though, for working on the actual attachment I'm going to do. Now, I can move these because I've already punched and distressed my paper. These are just some scraps that I had, so I'm really happy with them. And you could turn these whichever way you want. Now, obviously, I need 2 for my paper clip like this. The question is, do I like this being exposed when I see the inside of the clip, or do I like this? Because if you remember on my other clips, here's what it looks like. This one has a different color on the inside. This one has the same. So think about what you want for the inside. We're working on the inside layer here. If you want your clip to look like this, that's fine. If you want it to look like that, that's fine. So this will be the inside. I'm going to do it this way, and we're just going to clip this on. But before we do, I just really, really like to give that a little squirt of the Power Tack. Like that. I'm going to come in here, and now all we do is put this on, but we're going to make sure the small loop goes in front, because remember, we have the small circle in front. And push it down, but not all the way. We do want to make sure that there is paper exposed at the bottom of that loop. Put my little pin there. Once we have that, we can glue the top layer of paper. The paper clip already has good glue on it. Now I'm going to put this on there with the image that I want facing me. And I'm going to pin this on either side just to make sure that that paper adhesive, that the Barely Art glue holds. I'm just making sure that that chain is not in the way here. Okay. I'm just going to let that set for about 10 seconds because Barely Art works pretty quickly, and I am happy with how quickly that adheres. Okay, once I get that, now I'll take these off, and I will come back and glue my other circle on here. So again, you can use whatever shapes you want. They don't have to be circles. I just thought this was kind of cute to use the circles. Now I'm going to pinch that again around that paper clip, and now I'm going to come and pinch under that. So there you go. While that's setting up, let's go ahead and close this temporarily. I'm going to look at my charms and see what I might want hanging on the end. Many times the pieces that I have are old jewelry pieces that I pick up from the thrift store or my own jewelry that I am not using anymore. So I think this is going to be a cute charm dangle on the end there. Okay, we are ready. Now first, before we get too far, I do want to make sure that I haven't glued this thing shut. It still will open, and it does. Okay. Now, the Power Tack will be permanently adhered in 24 hours, but in the meantime, I can go ahead and play with this. We are going to look here. So the Paperclip Art Group on Facebook, we are a group full of inspiration. I think you will have a blast looking around and getting inspired there and contributing your own designs. You know, we have a theme every month just to give you an idea of where to start or and to learn. This is very cute. I don't want to overthink this, and I do realize, there we go, that's cute. I do realize that I need to save some of these for the back. Now there is a cancellation stamp here that I like, and I'm going to go ahead and use this. I'm just using the VersaFine stamp pad so far. I just want to give that a little cancel mark. And I'm going to, and I know this isn't going to work too well because I have a paper clip under there. I will clean my stamp off later. Okay. Now these stamps are really old, so they don't have adhesive on them anymore. I like using a real vintage one. Notice I'm leaving it kind of hang off the end there. Now our paper clip is kind of bumpy because it has that paper clip in there. So you kind of need to be aware of that. It's not going to glue these things flat on there. But you could use your clamps again if you really want to get that to stick all the way around that paper clip. And now we need to come in the back, and I have these things. Okay. I wonder if I can put the mail art right there. I have more room on the front, so let's do that. So feel free to look under my video for all of my paperclip art videos. I have a lot of them for you to binge watch. I hope you can stick around and take a look at that. And then I am going to come here, glue this there. Just remember on this side not to hang off. Well, you can still hang off of the paper clip. Just make sure there's no glue sticking on there or you'll glue your paper clip shut. You don't want to glue it shut. Okay, now all we need to do is affix this on here. We're going to have to use the jump ring. If you've ever used jump rings before, remember to twist the opening instead of pulling the opening apart. Otherwise, you'll get this weird shape that you can't put back together again. And boom. I think that is a winner. So that is our next one. Let's just put that on there and show you what that looks like. Now that's really long. I may shorten it, but when you have a bigger, thicker book and this is hanging out over the edge of the book, you might want it that long. Up to you. Let's compare these here. Let's see how long this one is. Not nearly as long. Yeah, this is, I think, too long. We could shorten that. Let's do that. But again, it's totally up to you. There we go. I think that's better. You can make these as long or as short as you want. I love the idea on how that chain can sit outside the book. Thank you for watching, everyone, and thank you for crafting along with me today. I hope that really inspires you to get creating on these new and fun covered paper clips. Sky's the limit. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what shapes you're thinking of in addition to circles and squares. Look through your dies that you have. Look through your silhouette and Cricut shapes that you can cut out. You can even trace bottle lids and all sorts of things to get the shapes to cover your paper clips.